Hello, and welcome to Chapter 138 of the DC Alliance podcast. With me this week is Joe, host of A Walk Through the Multiverse on the GUA Podcast Network. Joe, how you doing this evening?
Oh, not too bad. Typical Monday for me. Just work, watch stuff at work, maybe build a truck. I don't know.
Just a little.
Don't buy a 2022 truck, a Silverado, Chevy Silverado. Just saying.
It may have been distracted. Someone may have been distracted while helping put that
Actually,
together.
there have been a little of multiple times where I'm like in the groove watching something, and I'm not like paying attention. So I scan, put everything together, screw everything down, put it to go up to the line, and then I look up and everything on my screen is wrong. I'm like, well, shit.
Probably shouldn't have been paying attention as much.
Yeah.
But some of these shows can really suck you in, Joe. Some of these shows can really make
Exactly.
you have tunnel vision there.
How are you doing? You doing pretty good today?
I'm doing super, Joe. I'm doing very super.
You doing pretty super?
Pretty super.
I mean,
yes, especially considering where my optimism, my hopelessness has been labeled as foolish at times. But I feel like I'm laughing right now, and my positive. He's not. He hasn't been recast.
You were looking on the brighter side of things, and I kept with the darker side of things.
I simply said, until they tell me otherwise, I'm going to believe, and I believe. And while this may actually still happen, there's like a 2% possibility against 1. Lucy may still haul away the football while I'm running to kick it.
I'm just saying.
Who knows? Like, there's powerful beings not on this planet. Joe made a really good point before we started.
You're looking at the lighter side. I'm looking at the dark side of things. Just saying.
Dark side, yeah. Who knows? May go for that big moment. Who cares about fighting the JL? Who cares about fighting anything else? I'm fighting dark side.
Hey, powerful being. Anyway,
it may sell, but yeah, that's a little prelude to what we're going to be talking about. That has me super excited, as you can see from the headline too of our topics tonight. Joe, before we do all that, obviously we're going to have to get the network plugs out of the way.
Yes, sir.
So we are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance with 8 shows in total. On Mondays is Slice of Film, and that rotates bi-weekly with Ranger Alliance. On Tuesdays is this show, DC Alliance. On Wednesdays is Superhero Discussions. On Thursdays is Star Wars Alliance. On Fridays is Marvel Alliance. On Saturdays, bi-weekly, is A Walk Through the Multiverse. And Sundays, monthly, is World's Finest True Believers. DC Alliance goes live on the Geekverse YouTube channel Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Star Wars Alliance goes live Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and Marvel Alliance goes live Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. All 3 of those shows also have their own podcast feed. Search Marvel Alliance, DC Alliance, or Star Wars Alliance if you just want Marvel content, DC content, or Star Wars content. But if you want all 8 shows on GUA, stay subscribed to Geek Ultimate Alliance on your podcast app of choice. We also have a Patreon, 2 tiers, a $1 tier and a $5 tier. The $1 tier is basically tip jar, like we're doing. You want to help us out any way you can, and the $5 tier is where you get your extras. You get your ad-free episodes, early access episodes, and Patreon exclusive episodes. Myself and Joe are doing DC films through the years. Next up on deck for us is Swamp Thing. I think we're going to knock that out next week. We also have Marvel Alliance guys doing their We Can Watch This All Day MCU rewatch. I think they have 9 or 10 pieces of content now for that. So check them out. We have Clay for the first time, where he watches shows for the first time. Right now is Game of Thrones. We have Katie going through Star Wars comics with her husband. We have my top 5s, and we have Joel's Multiverse Minutes. And right now, Joel is going through the horror movies, the spooky movies of Halloween.
Spooky, just really more thrillers and horror movies and Halloween movies.
Some of them were spooky to a young Travis, but
there you go. Maybe like the one I did today, Nightmare on Elm Street episode or part 5, the Dream Child. That's the one that came out today.
Did you watch that as a young kid? I didn't watch that one. I watched the 3rd one as a young kid, and then I was sleepless for, I'd say, solid 2 weeks of having to sleep next to Mom, or I would like Screaming Freddy was coming after me. So
I mean,
yeah, maybe 7 might have been too young to watch Nightmare on Elm Street. Maybe just a tad bit. I blame my friend Matthew.
That 3rd one.
Blame my friend Matthew for that one. Don't know how he got the VHS, but yeah, Anyway, I thought that was a real guy, so yeah, that was fun. But Joe's going through all kinds of horror films, spooky films, everything in between. Joe, what else is on
Just
the
S Bubs
docket?
here real quick said he just watched Dream Child for the first time a few days ago. Same, actually, S Bubs. I never watched the Nightmare on Elm Street. I think I watched the first one, the A New Nightmare, and the remake. Those are the only three out of the 9 or 8, however many there were, that I had watched. They were interesting to say the least.
It's a pretty wild concept when you think about it. For like a perfect concept for a horror film where somebody can enter your dreams and can like if you're killed in your dreams, you're killed in real life. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty wild when you think about it. Like, where would you come up with that concept?
Well,
That's
you could go
excellent.
over to Netflix and watch the movies that made us, and there's an episode talking all about that. So I had to make sure to watch that because it almost didn't get off the ground. Let's just put it that way.
I think Joe, there's a couple things on Netflix I need to watch, but that's going to go on the list as well because
It's a
I
good one.
did love the toys that made us. That was like hit all my nostalgia points. So yeah, right here as well. So check out Patreon for all our content. We thank you so much. But if you can't be a patron, if you can take a quick 30 to 60 seconds to rate and review the podcast on your podcast app of choice, that'd be greatly appreciated. It helps us be found more by people that haven't listened to the show yet, and that's always a great thing. I think that's everything. S Bubs also said, watch the album this spooky season. My favorite one ended up being New Nightmare. S Bubs,
New
that
Nightmare was good. Not gonna
one, I
lie.
think it was the most critically liked of them all. I
I just like the fact that they brought Heather. No, not yes, Heather
yes,
Langenkamp back.
yeah, and
Um,
the fact that he blurred the lines between reality and what
right.
was a movie, that was kind of really cool, especially,
Yeah.
like, Robert Englund's performance was great there. But, Joe, as much as I'd love to talk horror and Halloween and scary stuff, we have a supersized episode, to talk
Very
about.
good.
We
Yes.
last week, listeners, just a little peek behind the curtain, I really had to get my detective work on to just dig up enough stuff for us to talk about. And this week is the exact opposite of
Yeah,
that.
we
We
got
have
loads.
we're barreling towards Black Adam releasing a week from Friday.
Week and
Myself
a
and Joe
half.
will be reviewing it.
Yep.
And we got some confirmation the world's worst kept secret, something that I have believed for a long time, Joe. Believed. Before we get into that, we have our opening topic that is not that at all. It is another surprising announcement that I was not expecting. And yeah, Harley Quinn's having a Valentine's Day special. It was announced from their Twitter account. It wasn't much to this, but it essentially said HBO Max just announced we're getting a Valentine's Day special. It's coming out February 2023, and I need to figure out what to wear, what to get my Valentine, and where we're going to eat. So yeah, this is pretty cool. Like we said before, when we reviewed this full show on superhero discussions, check that out. Uh, we talked about how big the world was, how like many possibilities there were to go off in all these different
Yeah.
directions, and this is no different here, Joe. This is something that we've never seen before in terms of just giving us like a Valentine's Day special. And honestly, it's kind of in the same vein, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was inspired a little bit because of the Guardians stuff that they've had going on, the specials, the Christmas
Maybe,
special.
but also Harley herself in the comics, she's had a holiday special, a Valentine special,
Yeah,
a Halloween special. Like these one-off issues, they've been putting those out since the relaunch, just before New 52. No, New 52 had did the relaunch. Whatever. But so the fact that they're showing this and it's just showing that the Harley Quinn show itself is um I mean, when we were talking about when we covered it on the superhero discussions, we had no idea if season 4 was coming up until the very end, and then it's like, oh, awesome, we get another season. This is just adding to potentially what would be season 3. That's the way I would take it anyway, and it's expanding on the universe that we love, similar to how the comics are expanding on this universe. The 6-issue miniseries that has been coming out. So I'm loving it. I'm happy that they're doing this. It fits perfectly with the Harley Quinn mentality because, like I said, the comics wise, she's already been doing that, having special issues come out left and right.
I agree, Joe. The only thing I feel a little bit for Greg Wasman and the Young Justice crew because they're just wondering, like, they're still wondering, like, will we get another season? I think this is a little. If
I-
if the previous where they said Harley Quinn was getting a fourth season wasn't enough indication for you, this has to be it. Where they're throwing them a Valentine's special and you guys can't get a fifth season, you got to know that it's
Yeah.
pretty much come to an end there, which is a little disappointing. But like you
I
said,
really hope that they can still maybe tell something in the comic book form.
yes, well they are. They did try. They
Well,
did do that right
they've
after
got
the
the
end of the
6
season.
issues now, but like
Yes.
I mean like an ongoing is what I would
Same,
like.
Joe. Same. I would love to see that as well. But I like you. I'm super excited for this. I really love this show. I love the characters. I mean, first thing I think about with this after the what will Harley and Ivy get into is please give me some Bane. Please give me some Bane out on a bad date or out on. Oh my God, the possibilities are endless for some of the villain cameos we can get in this
I mean,
special.
if we don't get Condiment King showing up again, like what better way? Like they're going to a restaurant. Of course, Condiment King can show up. I mean, it makes total sense.
Oh my God, Joe, that would be perfect. So
You would have Clock King and Riddler over at the table over here being distracting and annoying to Harley. You could have Mayor Joker with his family just over a totally different booth. I mean, the possibilities are endless. You could have ex Commissioner Gordon sitting at the bar getting drunk because he doesn't have a job.
really hope Commissioner Gordon pulls himself together, but also for his hilarity, I wouldn't mind him staying the exact same way or getting worse. But yeah, Joe, like I said, all in for this. We're both in for this. We're going to consume this, and I think what you said about this being a little bit of a continuation from season 3, I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, it's no
the,
different than Sandman, how it dropped the one episode, episode 11, out of
yeah,
the blue, and it's still technically part of season 1.
yeah,
You know,
that's a good point
that's
there.
how I'm looking at this, especially since season 1 and 2 of Harley Quinn had 13 episodes apiece, and season 3 only had 10. You know, so
This could be and we don't know how the length of this as well, listeners. We weren't given. Is this just your standard, just 20-minute episode special,
yeah,
or is this going to be like Joe said, a
could
couple
be
episodes? Could be like
could
strung
be an hour
together,
long, could be
hour-long
yeah,
special,
could be a 3 episode arc.
and it's on HBO Max, so it's not like it's like needs to be presented with commercials. So
Correct.
it's kind of you could have a run time of whatever you want to
I mean,
have.
honestly, if they really wanted to, they could, because who knows? I don't know how far along they are on season 4, and maybe this was already in the cards, but like they
They
could
hinted that
do
they were pretty far along, Joe.
were
That's
they
what the
okay?
old showrunner said, that you'll see it sooner rather than later. Or maybe you're just talking about this right here. This is the
Maybe. Well,
in
and
between time.
my suggestion would have been they could have had uh, a Valentine special. They could do a St. Patrick's Day special. They could do a I don't know what's Arbor Day special. Is that April? I don't know. Like
Yeah.
they could do like multiple specials until like one a month until season 4 comes out if they
Yes,
really want to.
that's true. I'm just surprised because of how what they're doing with some of their HBO Max content that they would keep going in on this, but this is a driver. This a lot of people like this. They definitely
It
have.
draws the crowd.
They justify it with numbers. Like
Yeah,
they justify the numbers. That's the one thing I know for Zaslav is he's 100% doing. But like myself and Joe said, we're in for this. We're in agreement. We're going to enjoy this. Uh, Joe, let's get on to one of our main topics of the evening. I can't hold this anymore. I
I
got to
was
discuss this.
trying. I was trying to stretch it out.
I really got to get into this because we've seen a hell of a lot of interviews the past 2 days with The Rock. A lot of them, but I'm going to share my screen, listeners. This is essentially the main thing that I want to talk about. The Rock has several meetings, and he's talking to Jake's Takes here.
I got no volume if you're trying to do volume.
No, he's talking to Jake's Take, and he's saying, "Yeah, we've been building Black Adam up. He is the strongest person on this planet, but the strongest being in the universe has been on the sidelines for far too long." And I love
Yeah, Dark Side. because he
Jake's
got kicked out of Justice League, got put back into Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Jake's takes. I just love this because when
His
the
face.
Rock is telling him this, he is all of us, which is you can't even contain how excited he is hearing the Rock talk. S-Bub says obviously he's talking about the Matter Eater lad, of
Yes,
course,
thank
from
you.
Peacemaker, of course.
Thank
The
you.
Rock is
That's
definitely
Bubs. You know what I'm talking about.
he's eyeing the crossover with Peacemaker. That is definitely where he thinks he's going to make his money. Obviously, folks, he's talking about Superman, and this is awesome. There's more stuff. There's rumors that Cavill's getting a sequel. There's a new deal in place. He's going to show up in the Flash, among other things. Like he's going to be
It's just
around more, and that all the rumors and the scuttlebutt is that The Rock was the main reason behind this. Like The Rock pushed WB to this, pushed Zaslav and them to sign this to get Superman going again. And he's getting an outpouring of love the past 2 days on social media since that Jake Takes little clip came out. I want to say this morning or yesterday morning. It's been a Rock love fest on Twitter from the DC fans.
I
For most,
I don't
most of the DC fans.
look. I'm not saying I don't love The Rock. The Rock is an amazing actor on certain roles. I
Not
can't.
or do.
I said certain roles. Scorpion King. But
I'm saying Doom again because it was that bad, and I watched it.
Look, I liked Doom when it came
It was
out.
bad. It was
It was
bad. I'm sorry.
good back
No.
in 2000 when it came out, wherever year it came out. But no. So this, I can't like just be gung ho sucking Rock's butt, saying, "Oh, you did so great! It's wonderful!" Like all you did was just tell WB, "Hey, you should do this," and keep pestering them, which we've seen work. That worked for Ryan Reynolds to get Deadpool. You know, he kept pestering him and pestering, but The Rock doing this, and obviously Henry Cavill has never said no to it. Like he's been championing trying to come back for 13 years now, 14 years, however long it's been since. I guess what 13 was the movie, so 10 years. I don't know math. Math is hard. But it's not. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm not saying I'm angry that he's able to bring Henry Cavill back, but like, why would you want to come back to all this toxicity?
Well, we've had another regime change since Henry Cavill's
We've had
played.
two.
Well, since he's played BVS and then regime change, and then another regime change since he's played another character. He hasn't played that. He's filmed nothing new for Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Correct.
So he
Everything was
hasn't
already filmed.
He hasn't filmed anything since the regime changes.
Yes.
So this is, I guess, maybe that's why the new regime sold him, or he got what he wanted. The previous regime would not, because we've always heard that the one of the main things was he wanted another solo film, and not just be cameos. That was part of the reason why we didn't get to see him in some of those other things. Esbub says if he stormed into WB and demanded Superman, realistically, who's there? That goes down to no one. Esbub, no one. And honestly, I could see The Rock really like wowing David Zaslav just by his energy, his positivity, and his like essentially being like a superhero come to life, like a gigantic ass man.
End of the day, he's a businessman.
Yeah.
He's gonna whatever he proposed to Zaslav and the heads convinced them enough to be like, "Hey, this is a good idea. Maybe we should go forward with this."
Yeah, and if it is the case, if all the rumors are, I am going to give him thanks. But Joe, you do bring up a good point that has been made by other people. I know Superfan K quote tweeted me when I talked about this and said, "Me personally, I'd rather see them build the conflict between Shazam and Black Adam. I don't mind using Black Adam to reintroduce Supes, and I don't mind Supes being a bridge to Black Adam versus Shazam versus Black Adam. But I don't care about Black Adam fighting him. I want to use a Trinity to build a bridge back to Darkseid." and I want to build up the obscure, less famous side of DC. Give me milestone characters and dark magic. Build a conflict towards Trigon. Let's utilize the big
Ooh.
guns and side weapons, and eventually get to multiverse threats like Anti-Monitor.
Ooh, I like that thought. Yeah.
I have the same thought. Not gonna lie, same thought about Black Adam fighting Shazam. I've said it on this show multiple times that I think it's foolish that David Sandberg didn't meet The Rock before Comic Con, SDCC, and I don't even know they had a brief encounter, but not much. And I think that's foolish. But The Rock has
But
clearly
I
had the eye
also
for Superman here too. He's done this
yes,
since 2008. He's been sharing pictures and
but that's only
said all
because
the
that they
time.
both have the same
Agent too. Yeah.
agent.
Yes.
Like honestly, I would agree with the guy who quote treated you. I
Yeah.
definitely think Black Adam should have faced off against Shazam before he faced off against Superman. And there's no indication that they're actually going to face off. My thought process is probably something similar to what we got in Peacemaker, where Justice League shows up and then Peacemaker just like mouths off to them and walks by. Like I'm not saying that Black Adam's going to mouth off to the Justice League, but it might be something to where the Justice League shows up, they're asking what's going on. Black Adam's going to talk to them, saying, "This is how I do my stuff here. You cannot come in here because if you do, it's an act of war." And they're going to be like, "All right, cool. We're watching you though. The minute you step out, you're on our turf." That's what I'm going to see. That's my prediction of what could happen if
I
Superman is in this movie.
I have a question for you too, Ned,
Okay.
because what Superfan K talked about. Do you think that if there was a more stable, coherent universe before Shazam, like we didn't have the Justice League fiasco, do you think there would have been a better chance of us getting a Black Adam Shazam showdown? Do you think where everything was fractured and people let people do stuff on their own? Uh, like Black Adam was allowed
So
to exist on its own without having to deal with any DC EU continuity. And same thing, kind of like it was Shazam. Shazam on its own.
so was Shazam 2, was that originally supposed to have Black Adam in it? I can't remember if they had talked about that or not.
The original Shazam was supposed to have Black
The
Adam.
original one was?
The
Okay.
original one was,
Well, because
but
I
Rock
know they had the like the origin that the Wizard was talking about how he had a champion before and
yeah,
it went bad, which we all knew, Black Adam.
yeah,
Which is going to be interesting considering that it seems like they're shifting away from that maybe for this Black Adam movie and for the origin. Which fine, I don't like that. Doesn't bug me. That's I'll go into the movie for this movie in particular, not what is connected to the DCU overall, because they haven't actually said this is connected to DCEU overall. Technically, this is his own thing, correct?
Well, no, because we've already in the trailer, Amanda Waller is there, and you have her designations
Okay.
there of Justice League, Suicide Squad, and
Okay.
JSA.
Okay.
So that's one. And Harcourt was shown today in a
Behind the
behind
scenes picture,
behind the
yeah.
scenes picture of her character as well being there.
Which
So
jumps back to Suicide Squad, yeah.
which
Okay. So that being said, to answer your question, if it was a better connected universe, like they could have easily set it up. Like let's think of Superman 78 and Superman 2. Like they could have set it up like that, where they had, in that one they had Zod show up in the very beginning and then not show up until the second movie.
yeah,
They could have done something similar to this, where they showed Black Adam's origin in the first 15 minutes of Shazam, talking about the wizard, including why he chose Black Adam and then realizing that he chose wrong and banished him or something. And then we get his coming back in this Black Adam to solidify it, connecting better to the DCU EU. But we don't have that though.
no, but like I said, with Harcourt, Waller.
It's connected, yes, but
There's
what I'm saying, we don't have
also
that strong connectivity.
so all the connections are to Suicide Squad movies, Peacemaker.
The
Plus,
SSEU.
yeah, Suicide Squad Extended Universe. I think there's going to be a bigger cameo, as Bob said, like what we've alluded to with Cavill Superman and
With Darkseid.
Joe. Darkseid. I love that. I wouldn't hate that either if I saw that.
No, it'd be
Not gonna
amazing.
lie.
Honestly,
Pretty cool. It'd blow my mind. But
Ray Park show, or not Ray Park. What's his name?
Ray Porter.
Ray Porter. Thank you.
Yeah, I got you back, bud.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, like with this, all the signs point to Superman and Black Adam facing off the next film. Which, if I wanted to see them as a team. I wanted to see Superman and Shazam team up to face Black Adam.
Well, again, make it honestly, if we're going logically here, Superman and maybe even Wonder Woman. Let's just say Wonder Woman shows up too. We get Gal Gadot and Henry Cavill showing back up, facing off against The Rock on the border of Kahndaq, basically saying, if you cross my border, I'm going to beat you up. And they're like, if you cross the border over here, we're going to beat you up. Like, I think that's all it's going to be. Like, it's not going to be a full-on, a Smallville battle for Man of Steel.
Oh, God, no. There's not going to be none of that.
It's going to be them just facing off, talking, having a discussion,
Superman's going to let them know. Superman's going to just let them know, like, yeah, I'm like, I don't go looking for fights, but if you start some shit,
yeah, if you start shit out of your designated area that you are claiming, we will stop you.
Yes, like
that's it.
Yes, that can be your.
We will not cross your borders. Yeah, we will not cross your borders. You don't cross it over here, and we will leave you alone. I don't agree with it, but I can't stop it either. Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen.
And if all these people like truly are your father, like truly want to live here with you, fine. I'm not.
Yeah, we can't stop them.
That's the kind of guy that takes people out of their homes. That's not how Superman rolls. I'm just going to be so excited to see him. Like, just because, first of all, Henry Cavill's been, I can't even say just a good dude about this whole situation, because I think that's very much understating, because he has never come out and said anything negative about
what can
anyone.
He say though?
Like, he could say, like, it's pretty bullshit that I would love to have. He could get negative about it, Joe. Like, there's a lot of people have.
But that also burns the bridges for any possibility. The best he could do is just, well, hey, I'm still available.
He could if you
let me, but I'm gonna go over here now and go do this series, go do this film. If you want me, call me. I am available. Just you have to let me know.
Even when they had regime changes, though, he could have crapped on the previous regime that didn't even like sniffing. They put a headless horseman out, as him, and another cameo. He could have crapped on that, but like I said, he just seems like a quality guy in that way. That he's not.
Well, he's too busy.
Drama. He loves the character.
He's too busy,
and the money obviously that comes with it.
Well,
obviously, let's not try and pretend that that's not part of it. But
he's too busy building computer towers for World of Warcraft.
And just to sport, nobody builds computer towers with wife beaters on, or muscle shirts on, or whatever the proper term is. I heard Snell talk about his shirt, and that term has been stuck in my head ever since. He has a wife beater with an actual picture of his wife on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's hilarious, and that's kind of what put me out of there. But like I said, I'm so excited this to happen. We got new reports that new reports that Henry Cavill signed a new deal, and he's going to start developing a solo Superman, and that he's going to be positioned at the end of The Flash with Supergirl.
I mean, if that's the case, that'd be awesome.
He could be such a great mentor character to her, and also you could have her have her own story, and either his movie sets up her own story or deals with her after her story is over. You could give her own HBO Max thing. There's so many possibilities here, but what it honestly sounds like, Joe, is that the super corner of DC is finally going to start to be serviced after essentially 6 years 5 years, almost 6 years of no soups.
Yeah,
on the big screen, and we've had somebody here, and it's just nice to. There's going to be a podcast with Josh Horowitz, Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. That records live on the 26th of October. There
Okay.
was tickets out for that. I looked up just when it was coming out, and there was actual thing there like if you want tickets to this. So there's going to be recorded then, so it should be out sometime after that. I look forward to the articles after the first weekend of Black Adam talking about this, because there's going to be a deadline or THR. There's going to be a big article with all the bells and whistles letting us know what's going to happen, and I can't wait. We'll obviously break that down and we'll talk about this. But I just want to let it known too, if for some reason every scooper has been wrong, every person has been wrong, and this is not the case, he's not in the film, I still promise you that it's not going to affect how I enjoy the film.
Oh no,
I
no, I'm still
Everything I've
gonna.
seen from this film so far, listeners, I've seen a couple 30 to 45-second clips today. We won't share them time because I'm going to not watch any more videos, but they were fantastic. Like, I mean, fantastic. Very comic booky. The action I've seen so far has been great, and all the characters seem pretty well motivated from what I've seen. So that's all I asked for in this, and the action looks great. I think the story is probably going to be the least strong part of this. If you go visual effects, comic book characters, action, I think story is going to be down there on the list. But I still am really excited for this film, Joe. And with this
It's
Superman icing on the cake, get out of here, get out of here.
we
I'm
will
in.
know officially next week what's gonna happen.
Yes, I'm going to have to turn off my phone next Thursday because I have two. Listeners. I was supposed to go to the film 3:30 Newfoundland time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Going to see it before anybody else. Super excited. Book those tickets. Go to school 2 days later. Find out I have a midterm. 2:30 to 4:30. Talk to the teacher. Quickest he's seen people finish the exam is 75 minutes, which doesn't give me any time to make that impossible. Gonna get maybe it could go later. No, gets notification a day after that saying I have a final 7 to 9, a midterm 7 to 9 p.m. on Thursday, and another midterm was announced the following day for Friday, 10:30 to 12:30 p.m. So I'm not gonna get to see this Black Adam movie till after the afternoon on Friday. First world problems, I know, but very frustrating. I can't refund my ticket until I go to the theater in person. So I got to go to the theater in
Ooh,
person on the way home from school tomorrow to get a refund, because I can't do it through the app. I've tried through the app that I bought it at, can't do it.
oh, that
And
sucks.
yeah, so special little extra burning of the gas to drop into the theater and cancel my ticket and get another one for the afternoon on Friday. But I'm going to try and see it twice, Joe. I'm going to try and
Are
see
you
it
gonna try
twice
to see
on
it twice
Friday.
before the review, or you get
Twice
like
before
back to
Friday,
back?
back to back, or
Okay,
an hour between. Yeah,
okay.
tough, but super excited for Superman. Let's. If anybody has any of those shrines or anything, like the girl for Lex Luthor in a few Smallville episodes ago when we talked about it, can you please light that for Henry Cavill again? Say a few prayers, do a few dances. I'm fairly confident he's coming, but yeah, won't say no to any good luck because just want this to happen. Just so excited about the possibilities. Joe, let's take our first ad break of the evening. Listeners, we're an ad supported network. We don't pick the ads or the volume. I'm going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe. We had a Comic Con happen in New York City this
Yes,
past week. I want to give a quick shout out to Wonder Meg on Twitter. Uh, she was one of the people working for CBR during this New York City Comic Con, and she put out some great content, some great interviews of people, including Tom King and Todd McFarlane. And those were really enjoyable. So just want to give a quick shout out there. She's been uh, on Chris's World's Finest True Believers multiple times. So just great work, and it was very enjoyable. But we got some trailers, Joe. Some trailers for several different HBO Max shows. We
couple
have
different things. Yep.
Titans, and Doom Patrol. Uh, I guess we'll look at Doom Patrol first. But before we even get into that, Doom Patrol and Titans are both going to be in 2 parts this year, which kind of crazy when you think about it. I really don't like breaking up shows into like multiple parts like that. What do you
It
think about that?
it depends. So I am currently watching two shows that did break up their seasons: Walking Dead and Resident Alien.
Yeah.
And both shows, so Walking Dead broke it up into three sections, and then Resident Alien broke it up into two. Both those shows, though, those sections, while they have the overarching story, each section felt like a season. Like it felt like a story start to finish and completed. Now, if they do it like that, so if Titans has, I don't know, say it has 16 episodes. I don't know how many episodes it's gonna have, but say it has 16. So if they do 8 episodes and then take a month and a half, 2 month break, and then do the final 8 episodes, if those first 8 episodes just focuses on Brother Blood and Mother Mayhem and all that, that's awesome. And then the second half focusing on, like, I don't know, Deathstroke coming back, which would be a possibility, but I know with the, you see what I'm saying. If they break it up like that and it's not gonna be
Cliffhanger in
well,
between.
not even like, not a cliffhanger in between. It's just it's basically 2 mini seasons. I'm fine with that because
That would be great, actually, Joe.
will they do that? Probably
No,
not.
definitely not. I don't think so because we haven't
We've had
heard.
we haven't had good PR in the last 3 seasons.
But not even that.
Anyway,
We haven't heard of a second villain. We've only heard of Brother Blood and then promoting obviously the
but
Mayhem,
again,
Mother Mayhem too. But
if they are well, you got Jinx and all that too, but whatever. But if they're couching it like that, like this first half is going to be its own season, and then the second half is its own season. You don't want to say, oh look, we're going to have the Hive on the second half, because you're focusing on Brother Blood on this first half.
well, they did say during the like panel that you will see a lot of old like Titans characters from the comics coming back this
Oh,
season. Yeah, that's got
interesting.
when you said Hive, that's what spurred me to remember that. There's rumors of Roy
Well, because
going
I
to
was trying
show
to
up.
think of like other Teen Titans or even Titans characters that hasn't shown up yet, and
There was no
there's
mention
a
of the
chunk, but
crossover as well with Stargirl and Doom Patrol
makes me
on
think they're
this.
not going to actually do it.
Uh, we got that picture of her with. I just don't see how that's not possible. Titan season 4 and Doom Patrol season 4 will be divided in two parts. We'll get the first half of each season this year, and the second half's in 2023. That's definitely HBO trying to spread their content and not put everything up the one time.
Well, I know
Titan
what
starts
Doom
November
Patrol
3rd.
is. Doom Patrol first or is Titans first?
Titans first at
Titans
November
first.
3rd.
Okay,
November 3rd. The first two episodes are going to drop at the same time. I think it's
and then
November 3rd. It might be November 6th, but I think it's November 3rd.
but it's November, and
Yeah,
then Doom Patrol is December, right?
December, yes.
Okay,
Which makes sense. I did see the thing. Yeah, Titans ends in December, first week of December, and then Doom Patrol goes on after that. I
wait.
think
So
Titans season 4 part 1 ends the first week of December. I'm pretty sure I saw the first two episodes drops the first week of November, and then 1-1-1.
that's only 6 episodes, then probably.
Yeah, which is what it would be 6 episodes in hiatus.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a 6 episode season, it's worked for Marvel.
True. And well, 2 parts, so I guess you consider it 12 episodes.
It'd be 12 episodes total, probably. But what I'm saying is, if it's 6 episodes, like that's like the sweet spot right now for a lot of these TV shows. But, I mean, I say sweet spot loosely because sometimes maybe you do want to have like 7 or 8 episodes to kind of let storylines breathe. But
And also with some of those Marvel shows, I haven't found it was She-Hulk, but some of them I found that they felt like they were chopped up. They were movies, filmed as movies and chopped up into episodes.
Falcon Winter
Falcon
Soldier,
Winter Soldier especially, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about this. I think we should get into some trailers here, Joe. And
Let's do it.
Start us off with Doom Patrol, because theirs was more like a trailer and Titans was more a couple clips.
Yeah.
I'll kill the volume here. Yeah, so we just open up with a little bit.
It almost looked like Danny the Street for the most part. But
and this looked like What's that
I
place
the
called?
yeah, I can't remember what it was, the underground
Yeah, the weird
facility.
with the place with the butts and stuff.
Yeah, well, because
Yeah.
we're gonna see the butts here.
So yeah, this is the creature they created. Could be weaponized as a force of nature,
This is
which
just so
just so Doom Patrol, Joe. So
it's
Doom Patrol.
perfect Doom Patrol. I mean, seriously.
We got all these killer butts singing.
I
I
had
love
this
those.
I
I
had this
love.
stupid song in my head for
Oh
like
my
a
god!
day.
Uh, I'm fairly confident my girlfriend loves Gilmore Girls, and I'm fairly confident that girl that's loving their dancing.
Is the one from Gilmore Girls?
Yeah, Lane is her name.
She
I'm
might be.
fairly confident of
She
that.
did look familiar, not gonna lie.
Yes. Also in another show, Allison loves Scandal. I'm pretty confident.
Ah, okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, that's I gotta look that up after. Just really curious. But yeah, I love the song that the butts are singing here, Joe.
Well, and
Just crazy.
it's like they're singing it, but the first time I heard it was on Family Guy, way back in like season 1 or 2. So
Looks like she is part of the crew as well now.
yep,
Uh,
Madame Rouge.
Madame Rouge. And
Which I mean,
I
she kind of
know
was there at the very end, so
and Rita's leading the group now.
makes
That's the other
sense.
thing.
She's
That
probably the better choice, in all honesty.
there's some wild things here that I don't know what's going on, which is obviously what Doom Patrol is. Just kicking and beating butts.
So I'm going to you pause right that guy right there. So if you want to go back real quick, this gentleman right here,
Can you tell me who he is, Joe?
Codpiece. That's his name. We saw him in Harley Quinn.
Yes, we
Uh,
did.
the only reason I mean I knew this character existed in the comics way back when, but the only reason I know this specifically, friends of mine, another podcast, Fortress of Comic News, they have been championing Codpiece to be in live action for like ever. Like
They
either
must be on cloud nine right now.
I tweet when this thing came out, I tweeted it at them. I'm like, hey, you guys should watch this. And they are ecstatic.
Uh,
So
pretty cool. And
yeah.
he shoots off a beam right at Rita right away. And this is nuts, Joe. I don't know what's
It's
going on. Daddy's home, shit.
well,
Like I'm
we look at Cyborg. He's not looking very cyborgy, so I don't know. I can't
he,
remember. Did he get
at
rid of
the
his
end of the
parts at
season,
the
I
end?
thought that he got rid of him. Yes, he did. He
I
did.
couldn't remember.
He got a procedure and he got rid of his
Okay.
parts. Yes, which a little disappointing. Not gonna lie.
Well, I
And
mean,
new season
maybe he'll get him
starts
back.
streaming December 8th, so
Okay,
that's pretty exciting there.
that's gonna be
Uh,
awesome.
it's going to be awesome. As far as what we expect to happen in fourth season, impossible to predict with Doom Patrol. Impossible. You just don't know. It could be anything. It could be anything.
Which is great. Which is why I like it because I have no expectations going into that show.
No, and it doesn't. You're like you're not watching it to be like, wonder what the big bad. I wonder what
Yeah,
will fun have been
exactly.
big. No, you're just like, I want to see what crazy effed up crap they can come up with this week to get these people in. Like I said, giant butts. Are you kidding me? And loved it.
I
So
mean, we had them in season 2.
yeah, it's
So
nice to have them come back, Joe,
yep.
get their proper due. So we have a couple clips that were released from Titans. We didn't get an actual trailer, but we did get two things. One, we have our first look at Lex Luthor and the depths he will go to contact what used to be his property, we'll say. Yeah, we have. I'll put the closed captions on. We have the Titans going through traffic here. We have obviously Connor, and they're getting ready to leave Metropolis. They clearly visited Star Labs before this.
Yes.
Tim wants to get a picture with the new Bow staff, and talks about a guy that he's interested in.
Was
Brandon or
was it Brandon?
Brian? Somebody would it be? It's hard to see this here. Oh, I can hide this.
Yeah, you had that guy who
like Bernard.
There we go. Yeah,
Yeah,
which
Star Labs dude.
if I'm correct, Bernard is his boyfriend in the comics right now. So
That's
so
super
yeah,
cool.
it makes sense.
And it looks like these two are an item as well now.
Yeah, like
And
officially.
I did see someone say that the actress that played Raven just turned 18 a little while ago. It seems like that they
Really? I
maybe
thought she was already. I thought she was like 20.
seems like they're pushing a romantic storyline for her, but I
I'm
really do
I'm
think these
glad they
two are good
waited.
together. Yes, and I do think these two are good together. The cringe tweet of the day goes to the person that commented under it. They can act a different age than what they actually are. Uh, yeah, just
I
honestly,
get what he's trying to say,
maybe not. Maybe just not comment
but
and just keep
don't
scrolling on.
say it. It's still
Yeah.
bad.
Okay, so yeah, he takes a picture. Uh, he gets ready to take it, and then everything goes haywire with the electronics in the vehicle that they're operating. And Superboy hears a pulse, a sound, and we've seen this before, Joe, in various comics,
Yep.
animation, where Lex Luthor and other people can contact Superman, and only Superman can hear this. And right here, Connor is hearing Lex Luthor, and this is our first look at Lex Luthor. And I will pause him when we
I said
see him.
we just saw this recently in the Superman movies.
Yes, and he wants him to come to LexCorp at 9.
There he
This
is.
is, and I will say first, he doesn't look a bit like when this guy was in Sons of Anarchy or Bosch. He doesn't look a bit like him there.
Now, I
I'm
mean, they seem to be copying. Um, oh, what's his name from Supergirl?
uh,
Um,
oh, John Cryer
yes,
with the
his
beard.
his look with the beard, which
Yeah,
I'm not liking. It looks good.
I honestly, Joe, I can see this guy being more like the animated counterpart. Uh, like he looks like a very like stoic, like
Oh yeah, no, he's a serious Lex. Like
like
he's
he's looked
not
like
gonna.
he's gone toe to toe with Superman several
Yep,
times.
yep.
Yes, and I really can't wait to see the conversation that he's going to have with Connor, because I think he views Connor as his property, and
Oh,
I'm really
guaranteed.
interested to see, like, will he try and get him back from the Titans? Is that going to be his goal for most of this season? And Connor's still relatively new, and will he be uh, like enticed by the ways of Lex Luthor? Like Lex Luthor is known to manipulate many people, and Connor is very naive. So that was
Well,
one clip,
yeah, we saw that in the last 2 seasons.
and this other clip was the Titans suiting up to fight uh, Mother Mayhem. And I'd really like to see, Joe. This was a great little action scene to set us up with what's going on. I don't know what she's holding there. I don't know if you know more about this character than I do.
I know a little bit about Mother Mayhem. Sh- she is, for lack of better terms, Brother Blood's mother. But the
Okay.
problem is that it's not his mother.
Okay.
Like it's just somebody that he. Thinking back to Teen Titans, the from the 80s, it's literally just somebody that one of his followers that he just chooses. All right, you're my mother now, and so
Okay.
you're gonna do everything you're gonna do everything I need you to do to run um, the cult of Brother Blood. That staff she has, like I know I've seen it before. I just can't. I for the life of me, I can't think of it though.
And if anyone's watched Young Justice, this move Connor does right now should not surprise anybody or read any comics really with Teen Titans, because this is a classic Connor move of not waiting for anyone and just going head first.
Man, I've been currently reading the Dark Crisis Young Justice World Without Justice League Young Justice, and yeah, Connor in that one is a complete idiot,
Yeah,
just
essentially that's
jumping full on right at the beginning.
they're using big guns here, which I enjoy. Raven gets her chance, and she's subdued, and we get the rest of the on foot people, we'll call them, here.
And Raven is a character that
And Gar's
Brother
wearing a super
Blood
suit
usually is
too.
trying to get a hold of, like because of her power set. Like he wants her to basically be his wife. For in certain iterations, he has looked at Raven as a.
What
I'm
is
not going to
this
say
here too,
equal.
Joe? Like, is she whole? Is just because of the speed? This is because of the staff, right? Like, she only has this
Maybe
power.
that could be her power. Again, I don't know 100% on the few times I've seen her in comics. Um, I mean, that's definitely all staff right there. But the few times I've seen her in comics, it's been different. It changes.
And let's just give a shout out to the most powerful Titan, of
There
course.
she
Very
is.
easy to see. Badass Starfire. And I just love this. Like, she just walks her down.
I mean, it's a good. This is a good fight scene because you are seeing everybody's powers, like each individual one. I mean, you've got Tim who's still learning, so he's staying back. Obviously, Superboy and or Connor and Rachel Raven, they're powerhouses. They go forward. Nightwing, Dick, he's gonna attack. He's the leader.
Exactly.
I do want to see Gar. Like we saw him turning green there for a second, and then obviously got shut down real quick. But like I want to see him turn into something that's not a freaking bat or a tiger.
The saying that was a bat, we're being very loose with the terms here. Like
Yes,
that was
but
more
he
like
did change into a different animal.
yes.
Okay, he
Oh,
changed into another animal.
I made that note to a certain host of DC Film Squadcast today when they said they want to see Scar transform into something other than a tiger, and I got the hey, we don't talk about the bat. So I can understand it kind of looks a bit ridiculous.
That whole scene was ridiculous, but
I
he
will
did turn
blame
into another
animation
animal.
too because animation makes it so easy to like transition from elephant to mosquito to tiger to giant boa constrictor to eagle to it. Like that's what I mean. Is so
Yeah,
I don't think we're here with the technology yet, if I'm being honest with you, Joe, to do all that. Well, at the very least in a
sure, but
TV
it's been
show.
4 seasons.
I
Like
know.
he's had 3 other seasons. They already
They
turned
should
into
have
2 animals.
Joe. Really, they should have got a different. They should have had Cyborg instead of him, or something like that. Like if
No,
you're not
Beast
going,
Boy makes sense,
if you're
but
not going to do his skill set, it doesn't.
yes,
You
okay,
have people
fair.
questioning. That's what I'm talking about there. Like,
Okay, but
even give me
yeah,
an Animorph. They had an Animorph show where people turned into animals.
I mean
That
they
was
could
in
have
like the 90s.
well. Let's not bring up that trash. But
Yeah, that's true.
they also had you could have had the Wonder Twins show up, and maybe they because you have one that can turn into water, which is useless, and then one that can turn into an animal, which I mean, I guess if they only turn into a tiger, also pretty useless. So never
Yeah,
mind.
we could have like Beast Boy. The other thing I want to show, there was basically a display showing some of the things, the props that were used for Titan season 4, and we got Clark Kent's glasses,
Which is
official
interesting.
DC Titan season 4 set prop. Are we going to see Superman? You think, or could
Well, we
these
are.
be on display in Lex? Something to do with
Yeah, I'll
Lex?
say we are getting Lex, so it is possible that it could be a connection there. Will we see Superman? I
I
mean,
doubt it with how they've handled Batman here, and we've had Wonder Woman's protege. We had her for 2 years, and we didn't see her as well. So I don't think honestly, Joe, if we did, it would give me more faith that we get another season of this show.
yeah, but I don't know if these people want to do one more season of the show.
Well, the guy said yes. The showrunner said there's a lot more room here. Obviously, they wouldn't hate getting paid, but I think this is the final
I mean,
season. If I'm
yeah,
being honest,
there's 40
even
years of comics they can choose from,
you
and
can
yet
look
they
up
still have burnt those bridges.
you can look up online, folks. Listen to Anna Dapp, who plays Starfire. She as she introduces the clip in that she almost accidentally says "final season." Did she catch herself?
Whoops.
Yes. Yeah. So I'd love to see this. Like I said though, like Titans, the action was never my problem with the show. It was more so some of the writing and decisions. So I'm the action. I wasn't surprised that I loved it all. There's
Yeah,
also a little clip of Nightwing fighting ninjas, which really enjoyable as well. So check that. It was only like 20 seconds, but still really enjoyable. Besides that, we had one other really important, cool bit of news that came from here. There's also other things, obviously, new comic books that are going on and stuff like that. But DC Joe is really putting her foot down and getting into the digital window here. They DC slashes print to digital release window with new subscription tier. So DC reveals its new subscription tier coming October 10th today that will allow fans to enjoy their favorite comics faster than ever on their favorite devices. So I'll just be quick with this. DC Entertainment announced DC Universe Infinite Ultra, the newest tier to its digital subscription service that will provide fans with comics just 1 month after they go up for sale at comic shops. DC Universe Infinite Ultra allows fans to read comics a month after they become available at comic shops, allowing them to enjoy comics on their favorite devices sooner. Ultra subscribers will receive a copy of The Death of the Superman 30th Anniversary Deluxe Edition with an exclusive cover by renowned artist Ivan Rice while supplies last. The exclusive cover will not be available anywhere else. In addition, Ultra subscribers will have access to an exclusive library of titles from DC Vertigo, Black Label, and collection editions beginning mid-November. The introductory price for Ultra is $99 and will launch on October 10th. And is also available not just for United States, my friends. That's the other thing. I saw Canada on there. I've seen, the new tier launched on Monday for a limited time. There's a special introductory price of $99 a year in the United States. In Canada, it's $119.99. In Australia, it's $134.99. In New Zealand, the same price. That's about it. And BPS $72.99 in the UK plus applicable tax. So it seems like the introductory rate is going to be there until November 28th, 2022. And as long as you're, let me read the last part. As long as your Ultra annual subscription remains in good standing, current DC Universe Infinite subscribers can upgrade their monthly and annual subscriptions to Ultra. Members who do not upgrade will continue to receive new comics 6 months after they become available in comic shops. So, Joe, that's basically the big news, is that it's jumping from 6 months to 1.
Yep.
What do you think about this as someone who clearly doesn't mind collecting physical copies as you look behind you in your mountain of comics? What do you think about this? This was one of the criticisms about digital, was that 6 months is quite a while ways to wait for new stuff in these streaming services. But do you think this will put a dent in somebody's sales here because of individual sales of comics?
No, I don't think so, because if I still get there's a couple titles I get monthly in single issue form that I get mainly more for collecting. Anymore is just the collector end for me, which even then, I'm not gonna be doing that for much longer, I don't think. And that's only not because of money or anything, but just because I don't really have the space. I just sold about 2,000 comics over the summer, and I still don't have enough room. So going digital, I read everything digital anymore anyway, for a multitude of reasons. One, it's easier. I can read it in bed just before I'm going to sleep, and I can take it to work with me, read it on my phone. When I have the single issues or the books, I don't like taking it to work with me anymore because they could easily get damaged or dirtied or, problematic on that one. But that's what I used to do. I used to get the single issues and then I got the trades to read. But now I just read everything digitally because it's honestly easier. I don't like a lot of people, and like Chris says, he likes parties but doesn't like people. I'm similar situation where I don't like, if I don't have to go to a comic store, which my comic store is fine, but there's been some issues with certain people lately that if I don't have to go there to get my stuff, all right, fine. It sucks because I do want to support a brick and mortar, but at the same time, these people are also running their brick and mortar into the ground. So why should I support that?
Yeah, you don't give money to a business that doesn't seem like they show like they want your business.
Correct. That being said, though, I was at 10 o'clock. Well, 7 o'clock. This is all my time, Eastern time, and then 10 o'clock, and then noon. I kept looking to see if this was available. It wasn't. I did finally get it. I couldn't get it through my app. I had to actually get it through my laptop here, but I did get it. Unlike a friend of ours who I don't even know if Scott has gotten it yet.
I think he's going to turn into a villain if I'm being
Last
honest with you.
man,
People
but
are
here's
like, "Did you try this? Did you try this?" And he's just like, "You know what?
here's
You know
the
how I got these
other
scars?"
wow. The other thing is people have been getting like confirmations that they are part of the ultra premium now. I never got the confirmation, but looking on the app, I have access to it. So, and even when I look at my subscription, it's on my subscription is for the ultra premium now. So I guess I got it, but I never got the notification. I don't know.
Go ask any questions, Joe. You
My
might.
but my worry is I'm not going to get that issue of
Yeah,
Superman,
that is true. That
that special
rock
issue.
and a hard place. But I really think this is a game changer, and I can see
It's
the
nice
Marvel
having
Unlimited following
having
this pretty quickly.
having a month out now instead of 6, because even that Marvel's only 3 months. Like
Yeah, but
that's still great.
I can see him following suit here.
They could easily go to a month.
It's definitely going to 1 and 1 until we may even get same day releases on this. But
I don't think
actually,
we're ever
no,
going to get
yeah,
same day.
because it's going to kill. I could see it like maybe
Well, ultimately,
being less than a
yes,
month, but
they will go. Everything will go digital. If 2020 taught us anything, there was a paper scare, and there was stories. I know, like Boom Studios was one in particular. No, wait, that one is that's Image. Sorry, Image was one in particular where they had this story coming out. It was going to be a 18 issue story arc. Is what they had planned. After issue 12, 2020 pandemic hit, and they were able to. They put out a final volume to collect the final 5 issues. Like they had issues 13, 14, 15, and 16 plotted out, and I think even ready to go to print. But then that final issue, they had to reconfigure to basically be a long issue, and they never came out with the issues. They just came out with the trade.
okay.
So what I'm saying is something like that. Because they couldn't print out single issues and they went to the trade, that could have easily gone single issues digital, which I think everything will. Like the collecting physical copies anymore, that's going away.
100%.
We've seen the numbers start to drop. Really, anyone that's buying single issues, they're really more doing it for the older key issues. Like I said, I've got a couple that I still subscribe to now, but those could easily go away for me. Digital is going to be the way to go in the future. I don't know. I'm going to say 7 years from now. I'll say by 2030, it'll be all digital.
And give yourself if you do want to get this, give yourself a little bit of time. If it's not working, like come back to it in a couple of days.
Yeah,
and
you have until the end of November.
November 28th. So
November
you have
28th.
quite
So
the
you got like
time
a little over a
before.
month and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like I've got the time right now. I was able to get it now. I mean, I already paid by the year anyway, so it's just another $20, and I was still good until I think February. So like I'm just
Perfect.
adding to my extended trial period. I guess I don't know.
Oh,
When I clicked on it, it said I had like a 149-day trial period. I'm like, okay, that's interesting, but
this is
not gonna complain there.
Let's use it up. But that's just a super cool thing for DC to do there, and perhaps I'm sure the fans will enjoy it. Joe, let's take our final ad break of the evening. Listeners, we're an ad-supported network. We don't pick the ads or the volume. I'm going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe, let's get into the last final part of our show here. First off, we have a new episode of Stargirl, Season 3, Episode 5. Yay.
No, it's called Thief, not Yay.
Thief. I watched this a couple hours ago. There wasn't a whole lot that happened, if I'm being honest with you. Like, we had Courtney and Cameron get closer. The JSA
did we
group.
get confirmation that Cindy killed the gambler, or what we saw was her standing over him with the knife extended,
and
she
bloody.
retracts it, Yeah, and bloody. She retracts it, gets his laptop, and then accidentally shoots the gun because she's spasming.
Which
And
I don't think she's in control of her own body.
no, I don't think
From
so
that way, I
either.
think she's blacking out. I think it's caused by her father, who I think is still in the picture in this thing that we will see down the line.
Yeah.
We have that. We have, like I said, we have Courtney and Cameron getting closer, which was nice to see. It honestly don't know what Rick's problem is. uh, at time, like no need to be
I
dick
think
24/7.
I think it's he sees him as a pretty boy, and
His
he was the
father.
one that would make fun of. Well, definitely his father, but he would make he saw him at that like level of, oh, you're a jock. You make fun of the losers, which I'm a loser, so you're gonna make fun of me. So I'm gonna make fun of you and pressure you because now I have confidence being our man. I
But he's
can
not
stand
even a
up to you.
jock. He's a artist.
No,
He's
but
a artsy
he's in
fartsy
that.
guy.
He was in that popular group. You know, like
Okay, yeah.
he was the popular kids always made fun of the not popular kids. It's what
I thought
happened.
he was just on his own as like a lone wolf kind of deal. I didn't know he was in the group, but I
I
hadn't
don't
seen the
remember.
first couple seasons, so
I
it's been
It's
a
been a
while.
minute, but I thought Cindy was trying to uh maybe he was part of the group or something. I don't remember. I honestly don't remember.
Like I said, that's it, and we have some investigation, but it doesn't go anywhere. Like,
The biggest thing that from this is we've got Starman talking to, well, so the entire time uh Courtney is distracted from really anything because she's having whatever a crush on Cameron and she's focusing on that.
yeah, she's not focused on anything else. She
Yep.
doesn't know. She's not present in the conversation. She's okay, especially because 2 episodes ago, when Starman took the staff, she was in the dumps and she was like wanted her staff back.
Yeah.
Now she doesn't even care. So she's like, "Oh, you got it. That's cool. Yeah, you handle it," and goes off and
Teenage
lets.
hormones.
Yeah, so she's focusing solely on Cameron here
Cameron.
and
Um
Cameron.
Cameron. But yeah, but that leads Sylvester Starman to basically take the lead slash mentorship, and he's giving some bad advice.
And looking like a crazy person because they investigate the labs. They find the underground tunnels of the Dragon King. They find where Sydney was camping out and
Yeah.
doing her work. She just gets out of there in the nick of time. He sees one of the pictures of ISA and loses it. Says they're mocking him, shouts at it, and fires a starbolt at that. We'll call it starbolt, starbeam.
Yeah.
The 2 other ones are like, "Damn, he's crazy." Our man and Wildcat. And then I talked to Joe about this before we started recording. I had some red flags here because I think he doesn't give them the greatest advice. He tells Beth to push her family away. I know to keep them safe, but
Yes.
it seems like ever since she's told him that, they've become closer and they've bonded. And I think that she's going to not like the result of this.
Well, it doesn't help that the her parents were like, "Oh, so we saw that the Crocs were investigating stuff, and we want to help too. What can you give us?" In my head, I'm like, first off, the Crocs they were villains for one, turned reformed turned anti-heroes, I guess. I don't know, but like they have training, they could take care of themselves.
They fought
So if
Starman in
yeah,
the
in the
grocery
the
store,
grocery
and that
store.
was
So like if they were to get in trouble, they could get out of trouble no problem. Beth's parents are doctors. Like they can't really fight.
no,
So
not at all. By can't really mean not at all, and they
well,
would be total liability. And Sylvester
and it
tells
hurts.
Beth that he lost his sister, and brainwave killed him.
Yeah,
So that gave her red flags. And
but
then he
but it
goes,
hurts. But she tells her parents to basically stay out of her life as Doctor Midnighter
yeah,
in the nicest terms that she can. But
but it
it
hurts
hurts
her.
her to say that, and it shows.
Yes, and then we have Rick is having trouble fixing the hourglass. He's like, "How can I be hour man if I can only have 20 minutes or 2 minutes? I don't know."
Yeah,
Sylvester mentions the regulator, and Rick didn't even know what that was. He was like, "What? What's that?" He's like, "The thing that makes it only for an hour. That must be broken." Rick takes it out, and now he accesses the hourglass and supposedly can access the full 24 hours. And I think there's a reason that his father had those precautions down there. I think
Yep.
we're going to see Rick go to the hospital,
I
like
think it's gonna
almost
be
die.
it's gonna be like a junkie. He's
I think
gonna
it's going to
be
drain. I think it's going to drain his energy, his ability. Look, after he goes past a few hours, I think it's going to really drain him. And I think the result after 24 hours is over, he's going to be in the hospital somewhere.
I can see that, but like I said, I can also see him like he can take it off and it's like, but he has to have his next hit.
Joe, that would be the way I would like them to go. I don't have confidence that they would explore that darker route,
Who
especially
knows?
where they're not sure if they're going to have another season. But that would be what I would like to see, because that is a very interesting way to do it, where he
Yeah.
gets addicted to it and he needs it, and maybe that's why you had the limit of just an hour on there, and maybe having that much power like all for whole 24 hours, maybe it messes with him a little bit in his head.
Probably. I guarantee it
That's
probably will.
that's another thing I'm interested in. Yeah, so that that was all clued up. We don't have any like further on the Dragon King, or really what's going on with Sydney, other than we think she's being controlled.
We think she is. And
Am I
she
missing
probably
anything
is.
else?
Well, you got Yolanda who is investigating, like she has this
Sydney,
gut feeling she's had since the beginning that
what does Starman say
Cindy,
to her?
he's like, well, go with your gut. And so she does. She breaks into Cindy's house, and now her gut was right. She did find the gambler's laptop underneath her bed, but at the same time, it's like you're investigating. I mean, I know you've had an issue with Cindy since the beginning because she ruined your life,
Yeah,
but
she committed a crime essentially. Like
well,
that's a crime. That's a crime here in
yeah.
Canada, anyway.
Well, no, I mean it's definitely a crime,
Yeah. So
regardless. But like it's just one of those things that she's held that over Cindy's head. Well, she's had that torch of I hate Cindy going on since then.
yeah,
And now she's got the power to do something about it. And no, so but ultimately what we're seeing is we're seeing the JSA splinter
yes.
already.
And I will say, see, this is what makes me confused on it all. Uh, Sylvester gives Mike some terrible advice as well, essentially telling him like, when I was your age, I went out and made
Yep.
it on my own. Like I went places people told me not to. Essentially told him to do everything. Don't listen to anyone. Do whatever you want that thinks going to get you in JSA. Which wild when you think about it with the age of Mike. Uh, that was weird. But then when he's having a meeting with JSA, almost at the end of the episode, he tells all of them to learn from his mistakes and not to break up. But then he gives them terrible advice. So I I don't know, Joe. I'm so conflicted. I want to trust Starman,
It's
but
hard to though. It's so hard to.
everything and anything that I've ever seen makes me think it's the same thing with She-Hulk. Sorry to Marvel Alliance guys, but I'm just gonna say this. I couldn't trust that Josh guy from the beginning because I'm burned. I don't trust any new characters I ever see in any show. I think like you have ulterior motives and I will find them. There's no genuinely nice people. Uh
Well,
yeah, so
it's all about dialogue and what they say and how they say it.
there
So
you go. I had to pay more attention to that. One thing I love the wish. I wish the bullies would be nicer to us, and they were like being kind about beating us
please
up.
give us your money.
Or I'm
Or
gonna have to punch you in the
I will have
face.
yeah.
It's just, I
It's
love the wishes.
oh,
It's just the
speaking
monkey
of,
paw aspect of that.
um, I didn't realize that this season that the Thunderbolt changed from um uh
Yeah, Jim Galifianakis to somebody
yeah
else.
yeah
Yeah,
to Seth Rogen or Seth Green.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that because
I love.
I saw Seth Green's name in the credits. I'm like, wait, who's Seth Green in this? And I didn't see him. And then I think by the second episode, I heard the voice. I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah, I prefer the previous voice. I enjoyed that more.
yeah,
But there's not one of those things that's going to make or break
no, exactly. We
even the
don't
pin
see him
for me.
enough
Yeah.
to have it be like, oh, they ruined this show for me. No, they're doing that on their own. It's fine.
Yeah, the young all stars.
Yeah. Which
But
is a DC thing. So
oh yeah,
that was a nice little shout out that I appreciated.
yeah. So I trying to think. I don't know what else is
I
going to
think
happen.
that's it, really.
Well, I'm going to try it.
Okay.
Cameron's parents or grandparents, sorry,
Grandparents.
noticed at the very end him and Courtney bonding, and him showing Courtney his powers, they scurried away super quickly because of that.
You think they're gonna tell him?
Yeah, and I think they're going to be ones that burst the bubble for him.
Yeah.
And Courtney should know this. Essentially, Sydney already knew that his grandparents had the ice powers from last season, and now she pushes him to figure that out, and she finds out that Courtney already knew that and didn't
Yeah.
tell anybody else. So
Which is a
I
nice
don't know.
little comparison to when Courtney brought up the laptop or the gambler blackmailing people to Cindy, and she's like, "But you already knew that." So like, it's
Yeah,
I did like that how they're verbally sparring.
it's interesting, Joe. I don't know what's going to happen next. I know the next episode is called "The Betrayal," so that's going to be interesting. Going to be interesting.
We'll talk about it when it comes out.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it for Stargirl there, folks. Really enjoyable episode. We're gonna do a couple quick DC news items that we've got from the past week, and then go into our Smallville retro recap. Zolo is talking about Blue Beetle in a couple interviews this week, and confirmed that the family will be present in the movie big time. And from Big Screen Leaks, we got everyone I talked to said the scenes involving the Reyes family were some of their favorite parts of the movie, and that George Lopez is the standout. So yeah, it sounds like some good stuff there. Blue Beetle sounds like a lot of positive buzz here. I'm excited about this, and there was also an article earlier saying like the studios behind you, like we're putting this out. So I think about this. I think this could exist on its own. It doesn't have to be connected to DCEU, but also you can connect it if you want, if it's working out well.
Yep.
So that's why I think that this is going ahead regardless. Whereas Batgirl kind of was right in the middle of the continuity. You even had the guy saying it was confusing the directors. So this seems to be a bit more like it doesn't hinge on other things. So
Yeah.
I'm excited, and I love how passionate he is about that, Joe.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for it to come out.
Yeah. We got an update from with new figures from THR. Shares that Black Adam's tracking to make 70 to 75 million on its opening weekend. Bigger jump from the 50-ish million that they
Yeah.
predicted before. This is
I
good. It
think.
only has 3 weeks too, though, because Black Panther 2 is coming out in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
after
but
this.
I definitely think this past week of just the buzz has definitely helped it. And then the last couple of days alone with the possibility of Darkseid, Henry Cavill showing up, like it's gonna push it. And once it comes out and people are like, yes, you need to go see this because he's in it. He's in it. Like
You're
it's gonna get
doing
the numbers up
you're
there.
doing that in the second week, right? Like you're putting out some sort of promotional material to let somebody know. Are you doing that?
I was thinking more word of mouth than promotional. But then again, you are right. With Black Panther coming out in 3 weeks, they're gonna want to get butts and seats. So
And they did this for No Way Home, where
they
after the
did.
movie came out, they're like, "Hey, yeah, just so if you didn't know about this movie, all these Spider-Man are here." So
Yeah.
I really
I get
hope
if not the second week, definitely the week before. Well, I guess that would be the second weekend, wouldn't it?
they need to
But
work on their
it'd be the
scheduling. Like,
week
they
before
need
Black Panther.
somebody in. They need to get somebody in, a couple people in, analytic people for their scheduling, because I don't know why this wasn't put 2 weeks earlier. Like this could have had a 5 week run here, Joe. If you're
And
asking me,
they
like
would have ate up October.
yes,
No question.
so I don't know that I'm still a little iffy. I think the best scheduling they've ever done for a DC movie was Aquaman, in the way they put that out internationally first and then domestically, and it made $1 billion. I think that was an excellent strategy, and that's the last time I remember them doing something different or shaking it up in their scheduling. So
Yeah.
I'd be really interested in that. And the final thing here, Patty Jenkins in an interview said she has finished up writing Wonder Woman 3, but also that the studio asked her if she could come up with any other ideas after going forward, like for more movies. And she says that she has an idea for Wonder Woman 4. I
Hmm.
find it really interesting that the studio came to her about that. I feel like the bankable stars, the Wonder Womans, the Batmans, the Supermans. I feel like those are the ones that I'm going to want to get in bed with first to try and because they need money. They need money.
They do. They want people to come back to this stuff. I'm just surprised we got some Wonder Woman 3 news. Because
Same.
we haven't heard squat for almost a year.
Yeah, I honestly was shocked. I thought that she might not even do it, and we might not get a third one.
Yeah,
and,
same.
Yeah, I can understand them doing it though. The first one was so successful with the legs, and
the second one was
sacrificed to the altar of HBO Max.
Yes, but it's people still watched it.
Yeah,
yes,
like
you don't know the numbers, but people watched it.
Yeah, and the membership, the users of HBO Max went up dramatically from the time before this to after this was on.
I mean, I know I watched it when I went and saw it in theaters. I rented out of the movie theater for this one, and I know I watched it at least twice on HBO Max in that first month.
Same.
So, and
Same,
I mean, I've got the
actually I only watched it twice. I watched it twice. I
watched twice total.
Watched it and didn't watch that third time.
I haven't watched it since then.
Yeah,
but maybe I'll watch it again sometime soon. When the third one comes out, maybe I'll watch it before that.
There you go. We'll see. I may not. I know where it is on my rankings, Joe. I know where it is on my rankings.
Yeah.
That's about it for the news. To wrap up our episode, Joe, we have our Smallville retro recap.
Yes.
Season 1, episode 12, Kinetic, aka the jocks that were left behind.
I get this is a common thing. You play sports, you run the risk of hurting yourself and losing any these guys lost their scholarship because the first jocks, I think the one guy blew out his leg or something.
Blew out his knee, had 4 surgeries, the other guy got into drugs.
Yeah. And then obviously Whitney, his dad was dying, so he had to focus more on the store, his dad's livelihood. His grades slipped, his sporting activities slipped. Yeah, he lost a scholarship because of that.
Lost his full ride, Kansas State.
Yeah, which I get it. It sucks.
Super.
But I guess maybe don't turn to
crime
as your bounce back,
or go on a big bender. That's seems like it's not a smart idea either. Or not tell anybody about your problems.
Right there. That's the big thing. The only reason he told Clark was because Clark was prying while he was working. I also want to chastise Clark for telling Lana. Yes, it's good to tell her, but it's not his secret to tell.
There you go. Especially as somebody who has a gigantic ass secret, you think you'd be like, no, we know that he was doing it out of a place. He wasn't doing it out of a place where
it was not malice.
This was I'm going to do this friend. I can ruin him and get his girl. That was not it. No, and even Whitney kind of accused him of that at a certain point in this episode.
But once everything kind of hit the fan, shit hit the fan, for lack of better terms. Because Whitney had no idea these guys were doing this. They threatened Lex, they blackmailed him, and then they're like, "All right, well, you're gonna give us money." And Whitney's like, "Wait, what? You can't kill him. This is stupid." He didn't know what he was getting into.
Yeah.
So obviously that's when he goes to Clark and Lana, and they go back and try to do all stuff to try to stop it. I will say this: you brought it up. They even brought it up in Talkville about Evangeline Lilly being in this episode as a background character. Wasp, obviously, lost.
Yeah.
Well, funny enough, I this was sometime after Lost, and I think right around the time she was in Ant-Man. I was watching some old G4 content, and she shows up there. She was in X-Play as one of the girls that showed off video game stuff. So I'm like, wait, I know her. Holy crap. It was just, you got, and they talked about it in Talkville. You start out as background characters, and then eventually you can move up until you get the roles that, your breakout roles. So.
Yeah, it was pretty wild to see her here. I had to do double take, obviously. One thing I had not stopped noticing since John Snyder pointed it out, but they always do something when Clark is coming in. They're always Clark leaves and they just get back to farm chores.
Yep.
And that's something that I didn't notice before, but I
Now
noticed it
you
now,
do, right? Yeah.
and I'm so appreciative of it because it makes perfect sense, like that he's doing this
Makes it
and he'll
better.
keep going. Like
Yeah.
life would go on without Clark. Obviously, I'm a farm too. So yeah, I thought that was just an interesting way to go. And he's still doing it here. When Clark chops wood with his hands, that was a cool scene, mind you.
Oh,
Very Captain
and
America from Civil War when he's
yeah.
ripping the logs. That's the vibes I got from that.
And Tom Welling talks about that
Yeah.
because there was a fan that asked the question, like, how did this happen? And Tom Welling apparently he talked about it, about how it was a stunt. Obviously, there was like a controlled
A stunt
explosion.
man really was excited to tell him about
Yeah.
it too. Like, I got this wicked idea, and he said
You
like
got
there was in the middle of the log there was a when the guy would press a button, the log would collapse,
Yep.
and it would look like he's chopping it. It was rather interesting, just thing because it looked so cool on the
it looked good.
on the film.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was really great.
Little bit I want to
Um,
talk about is the
sorry.
Talon and Lex buying it. Lana's trying to convince him to keep it open, and we get a scene when she does convince him. She gives us proposal, and he's like, "All right, cool, we'll do this." And who's going to like? Are you going to run it? And she agrees to running it. And I forgot about this with like originally when I watched it, a decade ago or longer. Actually, it would be longer. But then rewatching it here, it was she's excited because she got to keep the Talon, and then she realizes, oh man, I've made a deal with the devil. This is not great. In my head, and I told you before we started recording, this is just the pre-marriage gift because in like 4 seasons they get married. So
season 6, gotta love that weird ass season.
God, that was messed up.
It's nothing as bad as the witches, though. Like, that was the weirdest.
We'll get there.
The worst. Oh God! I just think about how frustrating. I used to watch that. Like, oh, go get home, watch Smallville, see witches.
It was a thing.
Yeah, it was a thing, Joe. That's certainly the point there. But kryptonite tattoos, cool idea, cool concept. Want to put that in there?
Yeah.
We talked about it before. Chloe dialing up on internet, that just made me feel old.
Made you feel old.
I'm like, damn. There's like,
I was a teenager when that came out.
Wasn't exactly spring chicken, or I wasn't exactly a newborn baby fan when we had dial-up internet.
You were under 10, okay? So quiet.
Yeah, no. See,
Smile Island. How old are you now? You're like what?
I'm 34. Smile Island in Canada.
Okay.
I was about 12, I think.
Okay, fair enough.
It was late 90s, early 2000s when we had internet in our town.
Okay.
So yeah, there's some places that still doesn't have high-speed internet on my island. So
really, wow.
Yeah, well, the cell service. There's some places there's no cell service.
Oh,
it just goes out.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
goes that
makes
thing.
sense.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool too, seeing that, and a little bit annoying. Clark beating himself up for trying to save Chloe. I love Jonathan's just like, you're gonna have to learn, even if you didn't have superpowers, you can't save everybody.
I also like Chloe's retort to him. Well, I'm going to blame you for the Black Plague and the fall of Rome and all this.
And Lex even says to him, like, you can't save everyone. Like, you're going to end up with a Messiah complex and a whole lot of enemies, which is kind of what Superman ends up with. So I thought that was a really nice line. Joe, that's about it. I think that ends
I think so.
The Smallville episode. That ends our jam-packed super episode of DC Alliance. I'm sorry, I'm all in. I'm believing that he's there. So
yeah,
no going back
there.
Yep. Full in. So Joe, tell the listeners where they can find you before we get out of here this evening.
Of course, Travis, thanks for having me on, man. This was great. I had a blast. You guys can find me on Twitter at _actually_. You can find my show, A Walk to the Multiverse, on Twitter at WalkTheVerse. And you can find my other show, Comic Book Rundown, on Twitter at Comic Rundown, and on Instagram at Comic Book Rundown.
And you can find me on Twitter at Travis_156. You can drop me a line. We can chat about DC anytime. I also host superhero discussions on the network. We just reviewed Rick and Morty season 6, episode 6. That show is going on hiatus for 6 weeks, so I will be bringing you other content. I'm saying other content as is not planned right now, as I had no idea this break with Rick and Morty was happening. which is hilarious. Yeah, at least thank you, Superman and Lois, for letting me know when the breaks were coming in advance. Too
Well,
bad there
you
was like
found out.
Too bad there was like 45. Yeah, I found it after the episode aired.
Yeah, so we all did.
Sugar.
Whatever.
Yeah. So thanks everyone for listening. We'll be back next week for the week of Black Adam.
See ya.